Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got my pickups here from the GTA Collectibles Expo. This is a pretty good show today. Wasn't super busy necessarily, but there was a number of reasons for that. I think a few roads I think were shut down in the area, as well as transit just wasn't really running there. I heard, I don't know this for sure, but I heard that the subway system nearby, basically the stop was not available, so it kind of shut down on the amount of traffic. I think for other shows that wouldn't really matter so much, but in the case of this one being so close to Toronto, a lot of people kind of use that subway system. They don't really have a car, so that really cuts down on the possibility of people showing up there. So that's sort of one of the things that I think interfered with there being tons of traffic at the show. Like I said though, from my previous videos, I was a vendor there. I had a great day, don't get me wrong. I'll definitely go back. I'll definitely continue to support the show, even though it wasn't the most lucrative day from my end or anything like that, but I'm not worried about it. You know, I was there basically trying to sell off some doubles to get some cash for my gaming fund. I was able to do that, so I'm not totally concerned about it, but I also was able to find a few good items here. So first thing I'm going to show you though is a little bit of footage. I actually had a little bit of a chance here to go around. This was near the end of the show, so the footage I'm going to show you is not really a good representation, I think, of the show, just because, you know, a lot of the stuff that had been at the show had already been sold. So some of the stuff you're seeing on the tables, I guess, would be what people were having as sort of as leftovers from being cleaned out earlier on. But still, nonetheless, it's going to be some footage here for you. That was sort of a quick run through. You can see there are quite a few vendors there. It actually grew from the last time. I can't remember how many tables they said they added there, but I can see, like, visually it's the same place, but just visually there were a lot more tables there. So it's good to see it grow. I'm hoping that it'll grow even further in the future, and looking forward to the next one as well, and I'll definitely be in attendance for that. Getting on to my pickups though, the first thing I wanted to show you here is something that I picked up for a buddy of mine. He said that he had used this and like emulated it on a computer or whatever. He played it back in the day, but he really wanted to get a physical copy of it. He's not a collector by any stretch of the imagination, but this game right here, he said he really wanted to get a physical copy of it. He also probably in the future is going to want to get a system to play this one on, but I have one of those. I'll probably cut him a deal for it if he's interested in it, but this one's going to go into his mailbox at work on Monday as a surprise for him, and that's RBI Baseball. This is something that, you know, my colleague was looking for, and I figured I would set him up with that just as a little gift. So for that one there, I paid $2. I bought that basically at the end of the show because I just saw it sitting there, and $2, you know, would make somebody happy. It's a small price to pay kind of thing. Moving on though, I also that was the only thing I actually bought at the show. The rest of the stuff's all from trades. First thing I got through a trade, I basically said, you know, come on over to my table to a vendor and pick out a bunch of stuff if you want. And he came over, took a look at my stuff, pulled out a number of things, and I went over to his table. There wasn't a whole ton of interesting stuff there for me. I mean, there was some interesting stuff there, but I just wasn't really, I was sort of looking for like the cartridge-based stuff, and there wasn't a whole lot left, I think, at the table at times. So that's not saying you didn't have a bunch of stuff earlier on, just at that time there wasn't really a whole lot left that I didn't already have. So this is stuff that I saw though that really sparked my interest. The comparative price on it is a little bit high for, I think, what it goes for. Of course, he's coming from sort of a store perspective, whereas as a collector's perspective, mine's a little bit different. So I don't mind though. The stuff that I traded to him, you know, I got on the thrift or very cheaply, so I'm not too worried about it. He probably had about like 10 titles that I, you know, essentially paid like $4 each for. So when you're looking at it, the real cost to me is probably about $40 for all this stuff. So it's a pretty nice deal, I think. First one here is R-Type for the Master System. Master System's a hard thing to collect for in my area. I don't think a lot of people bought it, or something. I have rarely seen games out in the wild. If I do, they're usually the same ones, and thrift stores are overpricing them if they are. So the only one I've seen one at is a store that basically prices all their games like $10, and they're loose carts and stuff like that. So I'm glad to get them complete. It's not in perfect shape. There is a bit of yellowing to the underlying, you know, paper or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's it. It's not the case. Even if it is, I'll be able to, you know, swap these things out and see if I can do the best with it. But, you know, R-Type and that one there, like all of them, they're totally complete, which is really nice. And this one's in quite the nice shape, actually. There's just a few, you know, minor scuffs on it, but hey, you put that plastic on plastic in the system, it's going to do that over time. So that's pretty cool. Nice to get a shooter, that's for sure, on the Sega Master System. Keeping with the Master System theme, I also picked up from him a copy of Wonder Boy and Monsterland. And this is a series that, you know, I hear a lot of people talking about. They say this is a wonderful series, and I don't know a whole lot about it. Now, this is sort of my delving into the Wonder Boy, you know, franchise kind of thing. So happy to pick this up. Wonderful thing to add to the collection, and it's totally complete. So really sweet deal, and this one's probably in, you know, pretty good shape in comparison to the other one as well. The labels are all good, which I think is the most important part. So a real shiny label on that one. Cartridge is a little scratched up from use, but hey, what are you gonna do about it, you know? So that's a pretty good score right there. And like I said, finding Master System games is hard, so I decided for my third choice from his stack, I also picked up Govelius, which, if you don't know about this game, this is actually Sega's answer to Zelda on the NES. And graphically speaking, this one is definitely superior, but it copies a lot of the elements from, you know, Zelda franchise kind of stuff. So pretty cool, but this also has other levels in it, which, depending on what part of your adventure you're on, you might be doing some side-scrolling, or there's also a sort of a top-down, almost like a shooter type mode where you're going through not a maze, but like a dungeon, and you gotta kind of keep ahead of the screen. So there's different things, you know, to this that are different than the Zelda series, but you can see a lot of the similar, you know, attributes and things of that nature. This is a really cool title to pick out. Probably, I don't think it's a hidden gem anymore on the system. If anybody's talking about, you know, favorite Master System games, this one often comes up. So still cool nonetheless. Didn't have it in my collection. Really happy to get a title of this caliber for my collection. So I'm really happy with that. And I have one more item which I picked up off of a fellow vendor as well. Obviously, this particular situation unfolded this way. He came over to my table, he was checking it out. Actually, I went over to his table, I think, first. I'm trying to remember exactly. It may have happened in whatever order, but I went over to his table. I saw this title sitting there. It's something I really wanted for my Genesis collection. Hadn't seen it out in the wild. People were asking ridiculous prices for it. It normally retails, I think, for probably around 20 bucks when it's like complete and in good shape. And this vendor wanted 20 for it as well. It's missing its manual though, and the cartridge isn't in the world's greatest shape. Now I have to clean it and everything like that, so it might end up turning out better than I suspect here, but still, nonetheless, I wanted to get my hands on this game and had not seen it out in the wild. Normally, because people, every time I've seen this at a show or something like that, people wanted about 40 bucks for it, and I wasn't willing to pay that, because you could probably get it cheaper on eBay. So I kind of left it behind in the past, but really happy to pick this up. This is D&D Warriors of the Eternal Sun for the Sega Genesis. Like I said though, it's missing its manual, and the cartridge is in the world's greatest shape. You know, there's a few scratches and things like that. There's no like rips in it, but it's just a little bit faded and whatnot. It's not perfect shape, but when I clean it up, it'll probably look, you know, marginally better or whatever. I'm not too worried about that. I can always upgrade in the future if I ever do come across this again, like for a killer deal. Now that I probably got it, you know, I'll probably run into it like 17 times at thrift shops, but still cool to be able to add this in the collection. This is one that I was really after from back in the day, because this is one that I had for my original Genesis, and I've mentioned this before in my videos, but I sold off my Genesis stuff to a store that basically was bought out by EB Games / GameStop later on, but that was, you know, a regretted move, because I did have like a Sega CD and like a few games, nothing too stellar on the Sega CD for it, but still all that kind of stuff, and this went with it, and this was actually one of the ones that I originally had. The other stuff that I sold, most of it came from a garage sale, but still pretty happy to add this one in. For sure, if you haven't played this, you should definitely check it out. It's really fun. It's got different aspects to it. When you're in the dungeons, it's actually like a third-person kind of view, like straight-on view, and it's in real time. Whereas when you're out in the wild, I guess, like in the forest type of areas, you're actually in like a top-down tactical kind of scenario where it's like turn-based. So really cool game. I loved this back in the day. Regretted ever getting rid of this game. I should have kept it for myself, but now I have it back, and hopefully I can just clean it up a little bit. The back on this a little bit scratched up and things like that, like as far as this goes, but I do have extra Genesis boxes lying around that have like, you know, no game in them or something like that, so I'll be able to, you know, fix that up and hopefully make this, you know, a really welcome addition to the collection. So happy to pick that up. That was everything that I picked up at the swap though. You know, if you get a chance, do check out the next one. I think it is a pretty good show there. Like Josh from Game Hunters R Us was there. You know, Bowser's Fartsack, Chris, he was there as well. I met like Burning Toys there, which is really nice. I hadn't seen a video from him in a long time, so it was cool to you know, see him there at the show, and he recognized me from my channel, which is really cool as well. Just other gamers as well that I've met in the past, and lots of people that I've met at the swap before, so I'm not like going to go through the whole list of all the people I ran into, because you probably don't want to hear all that, but still really cool to run into all those guys and you know, chat it up and hang out a little bit. Like I said, it wasn't super busy there, but still you know, a solid day kind of thing. Lots of finds, a little bit of cash, really good times. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I will see you all later.